To delete a place, I want to set dummy places equal to dummyplaces.filter. The filter method is a default method available on JavaScript arrays. It returns a brand new array filtered per our function we pass to filter. This is a function which also runs on every element in dummy places. And if we return true in that function, we keep that place in the newly returned array. If we return false, we drop it from the newly returned array. The original array is never touched, but since I then override the original array with that newly returned array, we update it with our filtered array. And here I want to return true for every element, but the element which has the ID that is encoded here in our URL. So we need to extract that ID first. Place ID, we get it from request params.pid. And here I return p.id unequal place ID, which means return true and therefore keep the place if IDs do not match. If IDs do match, then it is the place I want to remove. So I will return false, which drops the place from the newly returned array. And that newly returned array then overrides the old array. And that's already it. This is as simple as deleting a place is with our dummy data at least. Later, of course, we'll adjust all these middleware functions to work with a real database. Of course, we also should send back a response, a 200 response. And, well, it's up to you which data you want to attach. Maybe send a message, deleted place, or attach the place you deleted. You would have to identify it first then. I'll not do that here. I'll just send back this message. You could also omit this. You could also not send back any data like that. It's up to you. I will send this message object. And now I want to see whether it works. So here in Postman, let's delete that p1 place. For that, I'll create a new request with the delete method, http localhost 5000/API/places/p1. No data needs to be added to the body. We can just send it like this, like a GET request almost. And I get an error. Assignment to constant variable. Yep. I'm overriding dummy places here. But since this is the first time I'm replacing the entire array with something new, I accidentally still left this to be a constant. It should be a variable with let, so that I am allowed to assign a new value to dummy places and replace the entire array with a brand new one. So here I'll go with let, and now if we save this and we simply send this request again, it now works, deleted place. And if I now try to find that place, indeed I can't find a place for the provided ID. Now again, just as with updating and creating, if we ever restart the server, of course, we're back to our initial state, which is that we have that place, because at the moment, all changes are only done in memory. Still, that's good enough. We can see that all these routes work, and we got our initial REST API set up therefore. We have our routes, our place routes at least. We have our place controllers with the logic to get places by ID or by user ID, to create a new place, to update a place by ID, and to delete a place by ID, which is already amazing. Now, with that, we should also implement some user routes. We won't really add authentication right now, but we can still at least add the routes and add some dummy logic to them, so that later in the course, in the authentication module, we can simply add the authentication logic to the already existing routes. So let's do that as a next step.